Hey everyone, my name is frontier.setter. Today we're going to be talking about the EDC that I have in my current daily carry rotation and kind of the big changes I've made to my, I guess, ideology of everyday carry. It's been a little over a year since the last time I made one of these videos, but a lot has changed. So yeah, let's take a look at the things I have in my front pockets.
I've got something in my front pocket for you. Why don't you reach on in my pocket and see what it is?
I gotta say, looking back at my old video, I carried way too much stuff. Sure, I guess you could say I was prepared, but having all these separate little tools that I rarely ever used seemed kinda pointless. Over the year, I downsized a lot of my gear, and I'm pretty sure it's all different. So during my road trip move from Massachusetts to North Dakota, I learned a lot on that journey. Primarily that I didn't really need too much stuff. Now, I don't consider myself a minimalist because I actually like stuff and I kind of have a lot of stuff, so I can never group myself in that kind of category. So this is the stuff that I have on me all the time, every day. First up, you gotta have your phone. I have since upgraded from my Galaxy S6. Now, I'm sure I'll get a lot of flack because this is a Razer product, but you know, I personally like their designs, and long live the Death Adder. The phone itself has this huge 6-inch screen, along with these front-firing speakers that sound amazing. I honestly can't believe the sound just comes out of this little phone right here. Also, the 120Hz refresh rate screen gives you the most immersive waifu experience.
Captain on bridge.
Even though my girlfriend hates it when I play these kinds of games.
Bad dog.
Stop.
I do hope you're satisfied with our product.
I love you.
But it is a media powerhouse, even though the camera does kind of suck a little bit. Next, I have upgraded my wallet. I used to use this Mastermind Collective Apex 2.0 wallet, and I've since then upgraded to, obviously, the Ridge wallet right here. It's a little bit more of a pain in the ass to use compared to the Apex wallet, because you kind of have to like do some finger gymnastics to kind of get your cards out. But the nice thing is, the footprint is a lot smaller. This is pretty much the smallest you're going to be able to get a card holder because it's the same size as your cards. And a big reason why I wanted to go back to an elastic strap as opposed to like metal, like spring steel on one side is because you can actually overstuff the spring steel and stretch it out too much. Whereas elastic, you can kind of keep packing this thing in, and if it gets too overstretched, you can always change out the strap, which isn't too hard, but it does accommodate more cards. I opted for the aluminum version. Moving on, we have my new and improved G-Shock. Now, I've always wanted like a really cool, like Master of G, nice G-Shock watch. But I could never like convince myself that I really needed that. Now even this isn't like a super high-end one on their like list of watches. It has more than enough functions that I'll ever need, and it just looks really cool. So this particular model has a triple sensor, so the barometer is accurate enough and it tells me if it's gonna rain or not. The compass is useful because it's a fucking compass, and the altimeter is kind of like useless here because North Dakota is the Great Plains, so that never really changed. But the thermometer is actually pretty useful for, you know, all your temperature telling needs. Two other features that I really can't live without now. The solar panels are great because I just leave this out on my windowsill and it just charges up and I don't ever have to worry about the battery. Also, it has atomic radio frequency timekeeping or whatever they call it, and it always locks in the correct time at like midnight. All I can say is it is a huge upgrade from my classic square G-Shock, the DW5600. Oh yeah, and as with all my G-Shocks, I always have to have the bull bars from J&K's. I think it just adds that little bit of durability and it just looks really cool. So my keys have actually changed a lot. Before they were pretty bulky and I had a lot of stuff on them, so I downsized this quite a bit. One of the newest additions to my set of keys is this HK clip here, and this is one of the best carabiners I've ever used. More importantly, this Victorinox MiniChamp. So this little guy here effectively replaced my Bokeh Plus Tactical Carbon Fiber Pen, my Olight S1 baton, and also my Leatherman Skeletal. And I've actually found myself using this more than any other tool. If you want to know more about this, I have another video I'll link to the description here. Now I know these small things aren't really meant for like hard use. The fact is, it's always on my set of keys. And you always have your keys with you, so you always kind of have this tool. And the thing about EDC, it depends on your lifestyle. You know, I don't really live that exciting of a life. So this is really more than enough for me day to day. So I work in an emergency room, and a strong set of pliers and a huge blade really isn't that important to me during that work environment. So I don't really need my Leatherman Skeletal on a day-to-day basis. And if I'm not at work, I'm at home, the gun range, or at a restaurant. So I really don't need too many of those tools with me. And if I do need those tools, I will usually put them in this bag right here. This is like my mini, I guess, supply bag. If I am going on a day trip or something, I'll have my camera equipment and chargers in here, and then main pockets will have like food, water, whatever, and then other miscellaneous tools all in here. Okay? But this is for another video. So to wrap things up, this is my newest EDC gun. This is the P2000 SK by Heckler & Koch. Now, it was very hard to replace my USP as my daily carry, but this one is doing the job just right. Separate video on this in the description, also in the video and down below. It's a tad smaller than the USP, so it's more comfortable to carry, and because it's more comfortable to carry, I find myself carrying it more often. I'm still using an AFAK Eclipse holster, and I usually don't carry an extra mag. My mentality of that has changed as well. I usually just carry 10+1, and that's really all I'll have throughout the day. I also got this incog with a red accent because red is my favorite color, and it kind of matches all my other gear. The thing about defensive use of a handgun is that you're either first or you're last.
Always remember, if you ain't first, you're last.
In terms of like a defensive blade, I'd rather just pull my gun. So the thing about this whole downsizing, carry weight is also a form of resource. You can only carry so much on your person, and you don't want to be over encumbered with anything either. You want to carry what you need. That way you'll be most effective in your tasks, I guess, day to day, whatever your tasks are.
Oh, that really hurt.
So yeah, I'm actually interested in what your EDC is and what kind of your occupation is and why you use what you do. Maybe you can convince me otherwise on carrying a tourniquet again or carrying a defensive blade. I've already kind of gone through that before in my old EDC video too, so if you're interested in seeing my old setup, please watch this video. But this is what I carry now and kind of the mentality behind all of these decisions that I've made. And yeah, that's it. Always remember to stay tactically kawaii.